Hello, my name is Ilya Korman. I am from HoWest and I am the designer and the developer of the Tales at Home application. Today I want to talk about the application. I want to show it to you and also talk a bit about the journey we made to produce this application. So, this is an Erasmus Plus project about multilingualism. Erasmus Plus, that means it's funded by the EU, but also it means that we have different partners and they're from all over Europe. My organization is from Belgium, but we have partners in Italy, in Lithuania, in the UK. But all the partners are somehow linked to multilingualism. Some in a more theoretical way, like universities, some are more practical. And the idea for this project came from the fact that there is often a lot of negative pressure on the use of minority languages. And this could lead to negative emotions around certain languages, which takes away the motivation of families who use these languages. And we also see that professionals often they lack the experience of getting rid of those negative emotions. They have to become more like a coach for multilingual families than a manager. And that's why we thought let's make something that can help those professionals to get rid of those negative emotions. With this project, we wanted to provide a tool that supports multilingual families by creating an environment that's favorable to language learning and well-being. And more specifically, we want to know how languages are used in the family and how everyone feels about the language. And also, we want to encourage communication within the family. And maybe the most important thing of all is that we want to detect whether there are problems arising from the use of different families within the family. Not exactly the families, but the professionals that are helping the families. And professionals could be anyone actually. For example, it's teachers, educators, therapists, and so on. And it's those people that can use the tool together with the multilingual families. And what is a multilingual family? That is a family that's using more than one language and not the languages, the dominant languages of the country they live in, but minority languages. So for the design of this tool, we wanted one goal in specific, and that's we want it to be easy, very easy to use. You can just start by creating a family without barriers, without having to log in, and we want everything on the website to be self-explanatory. We use big icons that are really clear. We use different colors. So even a child of 6 years old can manage to understand what's going on and what to do. And to achieve this, we used something called user-centered design. In user-centered design, the idea is that the audience is always involved in every step of development. And every change you make to your website, to anything you're building, it gets tested by the eventual users. So this way you can make sure that your product is relevant and tailor-made. For example, some of the tools we started by drawing on paper and later we translated it to a website. But let's not talk about the website anymore. Let's just go into the website and see how it all looks. So here we are in the tool. This is a website, as you can see, because the application is a web-based, which means you can access it in your browser. You can use it on a tablet or on a normal computer, a laptop, but it does not work on your cell phone because the screen of a cell phone is too small and it's not going to work. Here in the upper corner, you can see the translations, or all the supported languages. So there's English, French, Dutch, Lithuanian, Italian, and German. Let's leave it in English for now. And I already started a family with one person, but we can continue making this family a bit bigger, and then we can look at the different tools we have prepared. So we go to the family. This is a family, the Holel family. It's a family of people I know myself. And the father, Mohammed Holel, is an Arabic person. He's from Egypt. But he moved to England, and then he moved to Belgium. And he has a lot of daughters, but we're gonna add one of the daughters for the purpose of an example. So she is called Amina. Here you can enter your name. And Amina, she doesn't speak Arabic. Her father does. He speaks English. She does speak a bit of English. So you can add the languages Amina speaks, English, and she also speaks Dutch. If you go to the next page, you can choose a color which goes together with each language. For example, Amina, she doesn't really like to speak English because it's really difficult and it's a language she never uses. That's why she chooses the color gray for English. For Dutch, that's the language she uses at school when she talks to her friends. So that's a warmer color for her. So she's gonna choose red. So the first question she will answer about herself is, where do you feel at home? And this can be anywhere. This can be any place. This can be a fictional place. But this can also be a real place. Like, I feel at home in Belgium, for example, or the city she lives in Ghent. And who would you invite around your table? Also, this can be fictional people. This can be real people. She wants to invite her parents and friends. We have 4 of these questions. We're not going through all of these questions. It's you don't have to answer them. You can skip them also. But these questions help to tell a bit more about yourself, tell the story of who you are, and they ask a bit about the identity of the person. So when you click done, your person is ready, you're a member of the family. So now we have a family of 2 members, the father and the daughter, Amina. You can add up to 5 family members. If you would want to add more than that, it would take a bit too much time to go through each section in the website. So we limited this to 5. And when you click ready, your family is ready, and then you can see the 4 tools we have prepared, the 4 activities you can do. You don't have to choose you don't have to do all of the activities, and you can choose in which order you want to go through them. But let's start with this one, the family portraits. The family portraits, they are designed to explain the meaning of languages and what does every language mean in the lives of each person. And so you start to do it each individually, and then at the end you can compare. So let's start with Amina. Here you see her portrait and the languages she chose. If you click on a language, you can say, "Hey, I want." You can show where you feel the language in your body. So, for example, she doesn't really like English. She chose the color gray for English, and she says, "If I have to speak English, I have to think really hard. So English for me, it's in my head." And she colors her head gray. And for Dutch, I like to speak Dutch. It's in my heart. So for her, Dutch, her heart is red for Dutch. But also, when I play with my friends, for example, we do some sports, and we do basketball with my friends. So that's with my hands, and we speak Dutch as well. So she colors her hand in red as well. So that's her portrait. You can add color to the ears, to the eyes, to the mouth, the shoulders, arms, everywhere on the body. Like this, you make a portrait where you draw actually the languages on your body. And then next, you can say how much you like each language. Compared to each other. So for example, you drag this bar up. That means you like this language a lot. English she didn't like a lot, so she's gonna drag it down. And Dutch she likes a lot, drag it up, like this. And then her portrait is ready. Let's do the same thing for the father real quickly. So, for example, his English is in his mouth because he talks English a lot. And his Arabic, he feels it in his stomach because it makes him feel warm inside, something like that. So he likes Arabic more and English. Yeah, it's okay because this way he can talk to his daughter. So he likes it. Yeah, actually he likes it a lot. And now every portrait of all the family members is ready, and we can go to the results. And here you can see in the results, you see the portraits, but you also see the divisions between the languages, which language you like more, which language you like less. Okay, so that is that for the first tool. Let's go to a second tool, and that's discussing situations. In this tool, we have a few situations, 6 situations. That's the dinner situation during homework, playing, arguments with your family members, when friends come to visit or family comes to visit, and the bedtime. And the purpose of this tool is you choose a few situations and then you say, okay, I speak this language in this situation with my family. For example, when friends come playing, I speak Dutch, but also a bit of English. And this is something you decide all together. Let's take another situation. For example, bedtime. My father tells me bedtime stories in Arabic. So it's almost always Arabic and also a bit of English. Those are the 2 languages. You don't have to pick every situation. And then let's start with the girl again. For every situation, you can say how much you like the use of these languages. And if you like it when you're playing, if you like it to use English and Dutch, you can make it a bit warmer. You see the temperature here is rising, so everything is warmer, because she likes it when she's using these two languages in this situation. The next situation, bedtime, well, her father is talking in Arabic to her. That's a bit weird. She doesn't really like it. She makes the temperature a bit colder. For the daddy, we do the same thing. Let's start with playing. He doesn't really play a lot, but he doesn't like it when his child is using Dutch when they're playing, because he doesn't understand, he doesn't know what they're talking about. So he makes the situation a bit colder. For the bedtime story, he likes the Arabic very much. He thinks it's part of his culture. So yeah, very red, very warm. And it's getting really interesting once you can compare the results. Here you see, during playtime, the father doesn't really like it when you use these languages. The girl, she likes it very much. So the difference in colors, it means there is a conflict. It's really visual. And then you can start talking. Maybe the family members didn't know that about each other, that they didn't like it. Same goes for the bedtime story. There is a strong conflict here. Where is this conflict coming from? I don't know. By the way, if you click here on the upper right corner, there's always some questions and information that the professional can ask. So if you don't have any inspiration, or you don't really know what to do in the tool, you can always click here in the corner, and then you get some information that you can use. Okay, that is that for the second tool. Let's go on to the third one. This is quite straightforward. It's a tool where you do everything together, and you just we try to measure the competences of each member, the language competences. And it's quite important, because you can also very clearly see how good someone else thinks he is in a certain language. For example, here, English, the father says, okay, I'm fairly good at English. This is good, so my English is good. If he would be a bit higher, his English, he would say, my English, I'm very good at English. But he's good. And the girl, she thinks she can speak basic English. So she's one step lower. The second language is Arabic. Well, the father, it's his mother tongue, so he's very good at Arabic. The girl, she only speaks a few words, and maybe that's something she regrets, or maybe her father thinks, no, you're much better than that. Maybe you should go higher. And for Dutch, the father doesn't speak any Dutch at all. You leave him at the bottom, he's not on the stair. And she speaks, she's very good at Dutch. And then you can start comparing, and you see everything together. All the letters, all the languages. And this can start a conversation, maybe. Maybe they didn't know about each other, that they thought they were really good at Dutch, for example. Okay, so that's the third tool. Let's now move on over to the last tool. The last tool is the timeline tool. There we go. And this tool, it's an individual tool. So everyone's doing it on their own. And in this tool, it's something we do mostly with adults, but it also goes with children. And you have to, the purpose is to tell the story of your travels, where you've been born, which languages you learned there, but all the places you've been, which languages you picked up, how you felt about these languages. I think it's a really important tool for reflection also. So you can tell your whole story, and in the meantime, you can talk about everything you've been through and what languages meant in this situation. So let's start for the father. He was born in Egypt, so you can scroll over each country, but you can also type search your country here. Click it. He was born there. Let's go to the next page. And he was born in, say, I'm not sure, 64. Let's hope he isn't angry if I make him too old right now. He was born there. He lived there for almost 30 years, I think. And the languages he spoke there, when he left, he spoke only Arabic. Very good, it's his mother tongue. And a very, very little bit of English. He almost knew no English. So that's the first country he's been in. Let's add another one. He went to the UK afterwards. And he stayed there 5 years, let's say. I'm not sure. And in the UK, he learned a lot of English. His English really improved, and now he'd say, "Yeah, I'm very good at English." But he almost never spoke Arabic because he met his wife there. She doesn't speak Arabic, so he never speaks it. His Arabic is a bit less good when he left there. And then he came to Belgium. Belgium. Like this. And he's still living in Belgium right now. And in Belgium, he never speaks Arabic. So that's even a bit less than in England. Only when he talks to his children, sometimes he tries to teach them Arabic, but his skill in Arabic is a bit declining. His English stays the same. He's pretty good. He talks all the time to his children. At his work, he's talking in English, so that's okay. So now his timeline is ready, but we can see a summary here. We can see a summary for each language he speaks. For example, his English. When it started, his English was really bad in Egypt, but then he came to the UK and he learned it pretty quickly, we can see here. And then his level stayed the same. But if he sees this and he starts talking about his story, he can also say like, when I left Egypt, I didn't really like English. So I was trying to learn it, but it made me really angry. And he can add like an emoticon here. But by the time here, I kind of liked it because it's the only way I can communicate with my friends. And here I still like it. He can do the same for his Arabic. For example, he can say right here, I'm a bit sad that I don't speak Arabic and my skill is declining a bit. That's how it goes. And so in this way he can tell his story. You could do it for the girl also. You have to see if it's relevant or not. Maybe she doesn't have a whole story to tell. And in the end we don't compare every story of every person. In contrast to the other tools where we always compare. So these are the 4 tools I showed you really quickly. What you can do is you can log into the system and here you can see all your families, all the histories of the families. And if you come back later, you can always see the other sessions you've been through, or you can continue a previous session that wasn't finished yet. Okay, I hope this is it. This is my presentation. I hope it's a bit clear what the tool can do, how you could use it, how it could be useful for you. Thank you very much for watching.